Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 3 of Quest for Quet. We are here holding a mutual aid event helping our friend of the community, trainer Anade. Anade has currently acquired a new service dog and is looking to help with some costs to train and raise that service animal, Quetzalcoatl. To help Anade directly, you can actually find the link to donate just by typing !donate in chat. Now, we are currently getting set up for our first run of day 3, and that is Yohane the Parhelion. But we do actually have an incentive open right now. If we manage to raise just 20, or what is it? I'm trying to do host math here, and it is early in the morning. I had a late night last night. If we raise just $24 more, I think that's how the math works. Yes, $24 more, we are actually going to meet our very first milestone incentive for Yohane the Parhelion, Blaze in Deep Blue. And that is going to be a category upgrade to all upgrades. That is going to require our first runner, Leah, to collect all the power-ups and improve our power and abilities throughout the run. So if you would like to see our very first run get more exciting, feel free to donate. You don't have to donate a whole $24. You can donate $5, you can donate $10, you can donate all sorts of amounts. You can even donate $26 if you really want to. We appreciate all donations here, and all the donations are going towards helping Trainer Anade with the costs for Quet. Now, we don't have to meet that incentive right away. We have until about 30 minutes into the run, but we are hoping to get that run started fairly soon. So definitely get your donations in. And all donations will count towards it. This is a milestone incentive. So if you donate any amount, you don't even have to put it towards an incentive. Everything will go towards that. But at the same time, we also have a character bid war for Katamari Damacy reroll. So if you would like to choose one of the characters there, you can feel free to put that donation towards that incentive on that donate page, and no matter what, it will go towards that category upgrade to all upgrades. And so we're going to continue with that setup, so stay tuned, and in just a few minutes, we will hopefully head towards that run. All right, everyone, we are all ready to go with our very first run of day 3 of Quest for Quet. That is Yohane the Parhelion, run by Leah. Leah, good luck.
Hello, I'm definitely going to be needing some good luck because this is quite an RNG heavy run. But nonetheless, this is a really fun game, and yeah, I can't wait to show it off. This is sort of a Metroidvania based on the Love Live series, or rather, based on a spin-off of the Love Live series. So it's a game that no one really ever expected to exist, but I'm glad it does. I'm going to go ahead and get right into things, because we've got a good bit to talk about in this run. So with all that out of the way, I'm going to go and get started in 3, 2, 1 and go. So to start things out, our main form of movement for most of the run will be slide chaining. So when you do a slide, it normally lasts for about 2/3 of a second before dying out. What you can instead do is, if you time the slide button about once every half second, you can continually slide without having to restart the slide, which is way, way faster. I'm just going to collect these materials here so I can craft my first weapon, which we're actually going to be using for a little while. And we need that to bust through these vines. I'm going to be damage boosting through a lot of enemies here, and I'm also going to be breaking all of these pots on the way. They're going to have some useful items for later. Well, they might. The drops are RNG, but they will hopefully have some nice items for us. Not too much until we go into a bit of a different area. You generally want to attack with a guitar first, because it does a bit more damage than the other attack, which is our partner Lilacs, the wolf. And now we're in a bit of a different area. So this is one of the main interesting parts of the speedrun, is that there are 9 sets of these randomized rooms. So basically you'll get a set of between 2 and 5 rooms with selected randomly from a pool of rooms. And some rooms are faster than others, as you might expect, and as you might also expect, you'd want the lowest number of rooms possible, which is 2. But you don't always get that. In this case I got pretty lucky. The golden pool indicates it's the last one. We got 3 in this case, and they were all decently fast rooms, so not too bad there. That first set of rooms isn't generally that bad. And these things I'm passing through, they are save points that will restore all my health, as well as darkness points, which we'll get to a bit later. They're not super relevant right now. So this is our first boss, and this is our first time really looking at the combat. So for the most part in combat, at this stage is going to just revolve around us alternating our attacks, because both of them have a cooldown, so alternating allows us to pretty much bypass that cooldown and constantly attack. And just like that, we're already done with that boss. Sometimes that door opens instantly, I'm not entirely sure what causes it. And as a reward we got our second partner, Chica. She's very situational, we don't use her too much, but some of our partners later on we're going to be using a lot. But for now we're going into our second area, Grotto. We're going to be coming back to this area quite a lot later on. We passed through this area quite a few times. We aren't going to be completing this one just like we did with Sunken Temple quite yet. For now we're just looking to move on to the area after this, but we'll come back here later and finish it off. While we've got a little bit of downtime here, I'm going to mention that we've got an incentive going currently to upgrade the category from any percent to all upgrades, which will change the second half of the run a bit, add in about 5 extra minutes of backtracking and extra content. So if that sounds interesting, and I assure you it is, make that incentive, get that incentive met.
I've only got $24 to go to meet that incentive, and every donation counts towards it.
Yes, the incentive will need to be met by about half an hour into the run, so that's your deadline if you want to see me. If you want to see more John. We call her John. We also call the game John because it's got a really long title.
More John!
Yes. Everyone loves John.
I love John.
So in our third area now, we've got our first sequence break coming up of sorts. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm gonna hopefully only need 16 attacks here. The attacks will stall me in the air, so I'm gonna do one more to be safe. Yeah, I kinda needed that last one. I jumped a bit too early, but if you jump later you can make it with only 16 slashes. And that lets us get an item that we're not supposed to get until after we finish the area. And that saves about a minute in backtracking. For now though, we're gonna go ahead and defeat this boss. And this is one of the few cases where we do use Chica, because she breaks down the shield, lets us get all these hits in. And that's really kind of how most bosses work in this game in the speedrun. You want to risk a lot, get as many hits in as you can, and that's how you kill them the quickest. And that item that we picked up with the sequence break, that allows us to walk underwater, which is needed for some later areas. I took a bit of damage here, so I'm going to play a bit safe. Notice how I'm not going for slide chains here, because the slide button is the same as the jump button, which effectively means if you go early on a slide chain, which is a pretty small window, it's about like 5 frames at most, we don't know exactly how much. If you go too early, you will jump, and in that case, jump into poison and basically slowly come to your death, which is not what we want. But we're at a save point now, so it's all good. Those boulders do a surprisingly small amount of damage. So we're fighting this guy again.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. Go ahead.
So I would just like to say that we have met the incentive for upgrading to all categories.
Let's go. All upgrades is a really fun category, so I'm glad I get to show that bit off. It's a bit of an underappreciated one as well, because the classic everyone just wants to play any percent. But I'm glad I get to show that off as well now. And this is as the only boss in the game we actually have to fight more than once in the area that it comes from. It's a bit weird because there was a demo release for this game about a month before the full game released, and it ends at the end of this area. So it kind of misled you into believing you'd have to fight every boss 3 times when you actually don't. It's just that one. There's a pretty fast Ruins 1 segment, all things considered. So into Ruins What Rooms now. Oh, that's a musical score. That is a surprise tool that will help us later. These rooms are a bit more polarizing, let's say, than the Sunken Temple ones. You can get some slightly longer ones and some really short ones. So in a lot of these like later room segments, it's more the content of the rooms than the number that matters. This is a really slow one. I'm going to take a risk here. Oh dear, that might work against me. I really need this to be the last room. Oh no. Well, that's not a death, but that does make things more complicated. I took a risk there because that poison room is very, very slow if you wait the whole way. And it ended up not paying off because it was not the last room, so I ended up dying. But not entirely, because that musical score that I picked up, which was supposed to come into play much later in the run, now comes into play here. And basically, when you die with it in your inventory, it acts as an instant revive, and it also gives you a little frenzy where you land critical hits every time, which is really cool. But you can imagine that would be a lot more useful for later bosses than this one. Nonetheless, that guy's down now. That is technically the demo strategy, actually. For speedrunning a demo, you want to use it for that guy. But here we are. With that out of the way, we now have our third partner, Kanan. And just like Chica, she's also very, very situational. She is mainly used for breaking these stone blocks that we can't break any other way, as well as some niche enemy kills like this. There's an item that I was looking to get from those guys, but neither of them dropped it, unfortunately. Oh, whoops. We are now in Sunken Volcano, which is one of the harder early game areas. The enemies here are quite strong relative to how powerful we are at the moment, so you need to be kind of careful. Took a risk there, but that's all good. The amount of damage that you deal, and also the amount of damage that enemies deal to you, is random. And sometimes you can get a critical hit, or sometimes you can be critical hit, which is a problem. So there's always a little bit of risk involved. An enemy might just crit you sometimes and you die. Or all of your health disappears in one go when you're not expecting it. And this carries into the warp rooms as well. The warp rooms are quite dangerous. That guy hits for a ton. There are also some really long warp rooms in Volcano. Oh yikes, I need to be careful here. Now that I've lost my musical score, I will actually die if I, well, die. So I need to be really careful. Thankfully that is the last room. And all these warp rooms conveniently have save points right afterwards. So if we were to die, we would actually return to one of those save points. So you don't just start from the beginning or anything. In this section we're going to be looking out for a drop from some enemies. These guys. They did not get it. They indicate if they're going to throw their axe high or low. I did not get it from that one either, that's kind of unlucky. I have a few more chances to get it without having to farm, but you generally really want to get one there. At least one of them. But nonetheless... Not too much longer here. I really want that pot. Not too much longer to go here before we warp out. Be really careful around this guy. He will take most of your health in one go. And a lot of these pots, we're either trying to get the ones that are directly on our path or very slightly out of the way. Don't want to go too far out of the way for them. So just like we did with Grotto, we're not actually going to kill a boss here. We're going to do that, and then we're actually going to warp out and go back to Grotto. And that item that we picked up at the start of Ruins, the Sea Deity's Charm, that allows us to walk underwater, which now lets us access this area of Grotto. And if we had missed Sea Deity's Charm early, we would instead be going back to Ruins right now to pick it up and then come here. I got the mirror version of the same room I was just in. I may have not picked up any of that one drop I was looking for, but there is another drop I was looking for that I have actually picked up quite a lot of, which is quite nice. So I'm quite good on health here, so I won't take the optional save point off to the left. Instead, venture forth. Ooh. You don't actually have to touch a save point to be able to return to it, you just have to enter the room, so very minor time save you can do a couple times. We've gone back to the fortune parlour here, which is Yohane's home of sorts, and we can buy potions from here. And generally what you want to do is buy 2 offense potions, or talismans. Whoops, I did not mean to go there. Buy 2 offense talismans and 2 health potions. And what we're also going to do here is, once we get into the boss, look at what we can craft. There are a couple accessories you can get there. Silver Ring's one of the better ones, but there is a really good one that unfortunately we couldn't make, but you don't get it every run. And if you do, sometimes you don't always get it this early. So Silver Ring is alright. I am not in good on health, I need to be really careful now. This guy has 3 phases. In his last one he will attack really quickly. I need to be really careful because 1 hit will kill me, I think. Should be able to finish him off there. Nice. That is a rather fun boss to do quickly. And you might be pleased to know that is the last boss we're going to be fighting with our current weapons, because we're finally going to get an upgrade. 2 upgrades, in fact. Our 4th partner, Dyer, is really useful. Oh, whoops. So, the wolf we've been using, Lilacs, Dyer's kind of an upgraded version of her, pretty much. She attacks more quickly, can do 3 hits at once, or she has like a 3-hit combo, and she also hits for more damage, like this. So if we combine that with our guitar, we can kill enemies quite quickly. That doesn't mean that Lilac is useless though. Oh, that is hit me for a lot. That doesn't mean that we're completely phasing out Lilacs. I don't like this, I might die. I'm not gonna die, I'm fine. That's another rare use of Chica. In this section I'm gonna possibly have to farm these enemies a little bit. Axemen, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, I'm gonna have to farm. Wow, I'm getting really unlucky. I've killed 4 of them but not gotten the drop once yet. I need to get it 3 times total, and I'd like to have at least 2 leaving this room. Still none. Okay, there's 1. The Great Axe Fragment. We need 3 of those. If we're lucky, we'll get both of the last 2 right here. Okay, there's another one. There we go. There is 1 more of those guys on our travels later, but getting both of them there is helpful. And the case where Lilacs is still useful is that, is that she has more range vertically than Dyer, so she can knock those pots out for us. This is a really long room. Actually a good one for Lilacs. Those yellow enemies die in 1 hit, so Lilacs' range is really helpful. I need to be really careful there. A reminder that I don't have the musical score anymore, so if I die, I die, and I'm now really low on health. That's a really nice room to get. Some rooms are literally this short. Oh dear, this is possibly the worst room I could have gotten. I might die here. Need to be really careful. Oh dear. And by looks of that portal, that was not going to be the last room either, so that's rough. Our strategy hasn't changed too much, we'll just go back here and try again. It doesn't help that I took damage going into that set of warp runes. Oh yeah, the fence lowered as well. Nonetheless. Again. The thing about this room as well is that there are two versions of this room, and each version has a portal on one or the other side. So you can just do all of that and then you won't even be on the right side, sometimes. So that is most people's least favourite room, if I had to guess. I don't like this one either. I have yet to get any 2 rumors, but they do exist. I need to be really careful again. Okay, finally that's the last room. So I lost about a minute and a half there for that death. But finally we're at the save point. So make a couple accessories here. So we've just made 3 different things. We swapped out our silver ring for a more powerful ruby ring, which will give us more health. We've also obtained a new accessory slot and we put a fluffy coat in it, which is a really good defensive accessory. And finally we've also just created the best weapon in the game, which you can get this early for some reason. It's interesting balancing. But yeah, we have the best weapon in the game now, which is really helpful. That is the Buster Sword, and that is what we needed the Great Axe Fragments for, along with another drop called Tide Lights, which we're getting from these crates like this. I just got one there. And while I took like 7 kills to get my Great Axe Fragments, I managed to get all my Tide Lights really quickly. I was very lucky with Tide Lights in this run. A lot of the time you'll have to take a heal there, damaging through those cannons, if you don't have good accessories, but we do have good accessories, so we're fine. So I'm going to bust out another talisman here. This is the Reaper boss. So you can only deal true damage to him in this core phase here. And the old strategy used to be to only bust out a talisman in that phase, but I've actually started using the talisman instantly in the fight. I just feel it's better personally. The optimal kill is getting him in 2 core cycles, like that. It doesn't always happen, it depends on your rolls, generally. There is an accessory called the Analytic Spectacles that we unfortunately are not getting this run, but they will boost your critical hit chance, so they are really helpful for getting a quick kill there. And after that, we're returning back to the parlor. Something I haven't mentioned yet is that when you rescue a partner and go back to the parlor, they will give you a quest, and then an item will become collectible within the dungeon somewhere. And in this case, our partner we just rescued, Hanamaru, has a really useful drop, so we're going to get that right now. It's a normal laptop, nothing strange about it. And you have to also return back to give it back to her. It's going to do another shopping trip here. Buy 1 more health potion to be safe, and another 2 offense talismans. And we're actually going to go and finish off Sunken Volcano now. Ooh. This is a fun room to do quickly. I don't know why, I really like this one. So now Volcano is a lot easier considering that we're a lot stronger, and we also have, as I mentioned, the best weapon in the game. Buster Sword synergizes incredibly with Dire's attack. This is a marathon, so I'm gonna play a little safe and at least get the save point. But you don't normally have to take that. So remember that laptop we picked up like a minute ago? Also bust out a talisman here. She's not very good with technology, so things can happen sometimes. And yeah, that is also one of the strongest attacks in the game. And just like that, the boss is dead. It's the single hardest hitting attack in the whole game, but it has a really long cooldown time. And I haven't mentioned darkness points yet, but it eats up a load of darkness points. And what that essentially means is that when your darkness points run out, it will start darkness points being kind of like a mana you use for attacks and stuff. When they run out, it will start basically taking that mana from your HP instead. But it won't actually kill you. It will put you down to 1 HP, but it will not kill you if it consumes all of it. So that creates a really interesting risk-reward situation in this game, where you can pretty much indefinitely attack as long as you don't get hit a single time. So the best players at this game are the ones who can take the most risks and still survive. I've also just gone into my favourite area in the game, Sea of Trees. This is sort of a new strategy for this area. I didn't quite get it right. That jump over that guy is a bit awkward. The old strategy for this area was to reach a save point in this area immediately after beating Shipwreck, and then go and finish off Volcano, and then come back here later and finish the second half, but instead you can just do the whole thing in one go. There is a car alarm going off outside and it's really hard to hear what I'm saying. Oh, it just stopped. How nice. That's not going to work. One of the rare use cases for Kanan again. We can skip a puzzle there that we're supposed to be doing. And we're approaching the warp segment now. Ooh. I don't like that I'm on half health, but that is what the health potions are for. I kind of forget I have them sometimes. And Sea of Trees possibly has the most polarizing warp segments in the game. You get some extremely short runes like these two, and you also get... Okay, this is a very, very short Sea of Trees warp segment. That's really nice. 3 runes, but all of them were extremely short. But you can get some really long ones too. We made a quick stop off at the beginning of the area to pick up Dire's item, which we're just returning to her here. Not going shopping yet. My voice is dying a little bit. I'm fine, I promise. That's what John does to you. So with that, we basically unlocked another one of the best attacks in the game. The bike. Or Scarlet Delta is the official name. Which we can also use to break crates in the overworld really easily. And while we're not really looking for any drops anymore, we are looking for money from these crates. So we will be doing our best to get that. And Scarlet Delta basically works as a much better alternative to the laptop for most bosses. It hits weaker, but it is much faster to use. and essentially spammable. Cheeky hit there. You can get some really cheeky hits in on this boss. And just like that, it's dead. It is possible to kill it before it starts flying across the screen as well. So, since the category upgrade incentive got met to change this to all upgrades, this is where the route finally diverges. So, the routes are the exact same up until this point, but all upgrades basically means we need to collect, well, all of those character items, like the Scarlet Delta and laptop. So, we're going to make a detour and get the one for our new partner, Yo, because it is a really good one. This room is really awkward to move around.
Sorry, making a detour. Got time for a quick announcement?
Yes, that's great. That's fine.
Alright, so we have opened a brand new incentive for Satisfactory. That is the run coming up 2 runs from now. If we have $50 put towards this new incentive, we are going to tame a lizard doggo. Now, I'm sure everyone around here loves dogs, but if you would like to see a lizard doggo be tamed, definitely make sure to get your donations in and apply that incentive to your donation. That is not a milestone. We have $50 to raise to meet that incentive.
Little bit of a sequence break here. You're not supposed to get down here this early, and you're definitely not supposed to do it that way. You're actually supposed to get this as one of the last upgrades, but you can do it right here. Using a little, using our new partner Yo, because her upgrade is pretty overpowered. Well, actually no, her ability on the whole is pretty overpowered. She basically acts as our new best form of movement. And I will demonstrate. Whee! She can just shoot us out of a cannon. And it's really fast. And the upgraded version that we just got, which we don't actually get in any percent, it's exclusive to all upgrades, allows us to also pass through all enemies and any forms of harm. Which is kind of overpowered. Making a little detour here to pick up Rico's item, who we rescued in Volcano. And we're actually going to be using this for the final boss. Oh, whoops. The character switches get really confusing sometimes. The way I basically have it set up is I have it mapped to the R and L buttons. Cycles through a wheel of all 9 characters. The eventually 9 you unlock. And yeah, it gets a little confusing sometimes, especially when you're trying to multitask while doing other forms of movement. That's a really nice warp segment. Thank you very much for that RNG there. I think that's our first 2 room of this run. And this is the last time we're going to be seeing Grotto, finally. Oh, whoops. We have 1 more area to pass through here. Or 2 that we have to pass through here to get to. We are now in Coral Hill, which is an area that I believe you're supposed to do a lot earlier than we actually do it. There's no kind of official order for how you do the areas, but I think you're definitely supposed to do this one possibly even before you do Shipwreck, or around the same time. Definitely before Sea of Trees, but you can do it this late, and that has the effect that the enemies here are way too weak for us. So this area is a bit of a cakewalk. Ooh. Sneaky shot here that saves a lot of time, basically skips having to go around a whole different way. Because when we're shooting out of Yo's cannon, we are very narrow, we can fit into really small gaps. And that's also how the sequence break to get her upgrade was possible. We also picked up a save point at the beginning of this area, which we don't normally get, but it allows us to quickly get an upgrade later on. Aside from that, though, this is a very chill area that just It's the most movement-based area in the game from this point onwards, so once I went early on that. There we go. And it's to say, movement-based areas are a bit rare from this point onwards after we get Yo's upgrade. Because, well, we just shoot everywhere pretty much. Not too long left in this area, we're just gonna come up with a boss here. In any percent you do this shot without the upgraded version, which is a lot riskier. If you get hit there, you might have to take a detour and go to the save point down below, because it inflicts a debuff that you can only get rid of that way. And then this boss is a bit of a cakewalk, a bit of a pushover if you will. Almost all of his attacks you can just dodge by crouching in place. And just like that, he's dead. Doesn't put up much of a fight. Especially not with how strong we are now. So with that we rescue Ruby, who is sadly kind of useless. We almost never use her. Upgraded Yo is really useful here. This area is kind of scary 90%. My movement's getting a lot of hands. Nice save point. And this is the final area, well, quote final area, final normal area, let's say. I'm gonna quickly go and pick up another item here. Not a character upgrade, but a really useful crafting material that we will need much later. I'm getting confused with my character switches, forgetting what character I need next, but it was Yo all along. Ah! I forgot what I was doing. I was supposed to crouch in that little gap there so I wouldn't get hit. I did not derust enough for this. To be honest, you can just damage boost through those guys by this point in the game. They're strong enough to do that. These warps usually aren't too bad. Yeah, not very threatening. I'm gonna go back to the parlor again for more character quests to unlock. In this case we need to unlock Ruby's quest, because it is right ahead of us in this area. I mentioned Tide Lights earlier and how we need them to make the Buster Sword. You get showered with Tide Lights after you stop needing them. It's kind of amusing. There is an alternate path down below, but it's actually slightly faster to go back up here and take this path instead, thanks to this long drop. This room is a lot more annoying in any percent, but in all upgrades we can just do this. I'm coming up to the boss now. I'm not going to take the save point. A lot of the save points are skippable and save a varying amount of time, depending on how far out of the way they are. That one is a really minor time save, but if you know what you're doing, we shouldn't really die to this boss. Does she know? And again, Buster Sword synergizes incredibly with Scarlet Delta. Throw in with a cheeky Scarlet Delta there. If the boss is close to you there, you can get a cheeky Buster Sword in as well. Should be dying any second now in this next set attacks. Yep. Alright, so at this point in any percent, we would be heading over to the final area now. But we have a bit of unfinished business in war upgrades. We have to get a couple more items. So we're gonna go back to the parlor and get our last character quest here from Mari. Also return Ruby's item, because we need to do that to unlock one of the items. I'm actually gonna head back to Volcano again, because one of them's in here.
So while we're getting those items, got time for a quick donation?
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, we have $25 from Scala Kitty. Let's start the day off with more John. Thank you so much. That helped us get past our milestone and unlock this all upgrades incentive. But we still have our incentive for taming the lizard doggo for satisfactory. So make sure you get your donations in and apply the incentive for that.
So we're picking up Kanon's upgrade, which regrettably we never end up using. Some of them just don't end up being that useful. Now back to Coral Hill. This save point that we picked up earlier. This is a really, really quick detour, even quicker than the Volcano one. You go new. You can use that stone in the background as a visual cue, and you go new. And you go new. And we needed to return Ruby's item to her for this. I don't question how that works, it just works. That flex walk takes a while to appear, not sure why. And now finally we're back in Sunken Temple. To pick up Chica's item. The item for our very first partner. Lilaps doesn't have one. You can do like a tricky yo shot there to save like a couple seconds, but it's really not worth it. It's the most difficult one to get a visual cue for, and it saves barely anything. But with that out of the way, we have retrieved all of the items now, so... And technically there's also a requirement of actually giving them back to the characters, but we're going to go back to the parlor anyway in this final dungeon, so... And that's out of the way. In our final dungeon here, Infernal Altar, we are looking for a drop here. We need 2 Orichalcums from these ponds, and it is imperative that we get them. They are non-optional. And over here, there's a little save point for safety. In case you don't get the Orichalcums, you need to grind. If you're feeling really... what's the word? There's one. if you want to risk absolutely everything, you can skip that save point and save like 10 seconds, but not really worth it unless you're going for... unless you need to revive a run from the dead. Oh, there we are. Got them already. Sometimes you just get them really quickly. Sometimes you even get them before you get to that save point. But... I went a bit high there. If I went a bit lower, I could have broken all of those pots on the way. It's fine, we still got plenty of pots. We do still need the pots for money purposes. Wait a little bit. There are ice geysers here that are cycled from the moment you enter the room, so just wait a little bit for them. You'll notice we're out of DP at the moment, so this might be a problem. Because there are a few places, especially in warps, where we might end up dying. But hopefully I will make it through without a hitch. And now if I were to be hit by that frozen gas, like freezing gas, normally I would be, as you might expect, frozen, but because I have Fluffy Coat on, which I made back in Shipwreck, like 30 minutes ago at this point, I actually will just get stunned and take 0 damage, which isn't nearly as bad. I'm totally messing up this movement. Forgetting what I'm doing. It's fine, got it under control. If I touch that black gas though, I am in a lot of trouble, because that will disable using my partners. And Upgraded Yo is absolutely imperative for this section in all upgrades. Honestly, Upgraded Yo makes such easy work of these rooms, it almost feels like cheating. I am going to be really safe here and pop a health potion. I don't trust this. You don't need to jump over those guys, what am I doing? Unless you miss a slide chain. Yeah, Upgraded Yo is almost like cheating in these rooms. You can imagine this is a lot scarier in any percent. There we are. Nice and quick. What we're going to do here, I'm going to farm a bit of money here. When you touch a save point, all pots regenerate, and these two always have money in them, which is really convenient, almost seems intentional. So, just farmed up a quick bit of money, we're up to about 20,000 yen now. And we're going to make a final trip to return the items that we got, and also do a final shopping trip. So what I like to do here is I like to buy one of every offense talisman, and then buy health potions and Fallen Angels Tears, which restore all DP. And with that we're pretty much good to go. And I mustn't forget to make this. Gonna get our first one going there, and we're also going to make the Hot-Blooded Bell. And I'll actually also make the Diamond Ring. With a little cheeky upgrade to the Ruby Ring. And the Hot-Blooded Bell is our final ultimate weapon in this run. It is essentially the ultimate glass cannon item. We take double damage, but we also deal double damage. So we can kill things really, really quickly. But we also have to be really careful, because we will also die really quickly. But with that out of the way, not quite the final boss, we've still got a little bit more to go. Fun fact, Aqua is the name of the group in Love Live on which the characters in this game are based. For those who don't know. Aqua mean everything to me. Love Live fans were never the same after June 2025. Never ask a Love Live fan what happened in June 2025. So we've got a little boss rush here, and because we're really strong now, they go down extremely quickly. You can one-cycle this guy now. So, as you can imagine, we won't be spending very long here. And just when you thought he was gone, the guy is back. The only boss you fight 4 times. The only boss you fight more than 2 times, in fact. And now in this next one, I would normally pop my musical score here, but because I lost it really early in the run, I don't get to do that. I should be fine to do this with no talisman, because we are stronger now thanks to the hot-blooded bell. It'll take a little while to go down now. Oh dear. That won't be a problem. I won't die, surely. That should kill him. Yeah. You might have noticed I'm on 1 HP now. So, I have health potions, but I don't want to use them too much because it's slow. I'm going to do what I can here to not have to use them. I do have 2 more talismans up my sleeve. One of them I'm saving for the final boss. This guy goes down really quickly. I'm going to do this one without a talisman as well. Normally I would use my talisman on this boss, if I had the musical score still, but I do not. Because I would currently be in the musical score and have those critical hits on top of it, but I don't, so I'm going to delay it a little bit so it lasts later into the boss rush. And by later I mean right now. This guy shouldn't last long. Right now. If you've got the EX Talisman and the musical score, these guys go down in like 2 or 3 sets of bike plus sword. It's insane. Only need 1 more hit here. And now hopefully I will have a good amount of this left into the refight with Cthulhu. And the thing about Cthulhu that's really scary, so normally this is like one of the hardest bosses in the game casually, but you can just crouch in the corner and dodge most of his attacks. The thing about him that's really scary is that when you kill him, he will pop out of the ground when you deal the fatal blow. And I'm really making sure that doesn't happen in a bad place. Uh-oh. Oh no, this is not what's planned. Okay, that's fine. Not the end of the world. That did not go to plan. That's what you shouldn't do. I panicked way too hard, and I ultimately ended up getting, like, no hits in, so... That's what happened. And I also should have used the EX Talisman a bit later. We don't have to redo the whole boss rush, just have to spend a minute getting back there with Yo. And I will have to do it with no Talisman now, but... small price to pay. I just have to play very risky, and thankfully I will at least be entering the fight with full DP and HP. And none of this has any bearing on the final boss, thankfully. Right, heading back. Right, let's try this again. Let's play a bit risky this time. I'll survive a hit from them coming up. Oh dear. This is a problem. Never mind, it's not a problem. Still a bit of a problem. That basically inflicts Solitude, which is a really bad debuff. It might be the worst debuff in the game, because we cannot use our partners now. But we will be immediately removing that with the next save point. However, it is going to take us longer to get there now, because we can't use Yo. So, back to slighting. For like a minute. And final boss is coming up. So this guy has two phases. The first one we're going to deal with laptops, and the second one we will do with a different attack. We're also going to use our Prime Talisman here for maximum damage. And it shouldn't be very long till time now. It should only be about 10 seconds from now. Oh, wrong attack. Right. So, and should be any second now. That's time.
GG.
That boss is made of ice, and Rico has a fire attack, so put two and two together, he goes down really, really quickly. But that's an all upgrades exclusive strat. You take him out with laptops at any percent, which is very hit or miss depending on the rolls you get, because the laptop with a critical hit deals enough damage to literally instantly kill a phase. Alternatively, it can deal like hardly anything. So you can really be in that fight pretty much forever in any percent, but yeah, all upgrades there is a slow but consistent strat in that. That was a really messy run. Not gonna lie, I died twice, I lost my score really early, but I mean, not the worst thing ever. It's like 4 minutes off my PB, it's not terrible, so I had some good RNG in there, some bad. But yeah, I mean, that showed off the game well enough, so I'm happy enough with that. So yeah, that's me signing off for this marathon now, but it's been fun doing both my runs here, and I wish all the best for the rest of the marathon.
And thank you so much, Leah, for joining us and doing this run of Yohane for Quest for Quet. It was so much fun for all of us. As a musical person myself, I can understand how annoying it might be to lose your music score early on in a run. But you managed to get to the end in great time, and of course, we all had fun. Now, towards the end of that run, we did get a $25 anonymous donation. No comment for that one, but it did go towards our character bid war for the very next run, Katamari Damacy Reroll. That donation actually went towards Odeko specifically, who's just a little purple guy. Very purple, very, very long and big head too. But if you want to donate towards any of the other characters as part of that bid war, we actually have a whole bunch of other characters as part of Katamari Damacy Reroll that you can donate towards. We have Ichigo, for instance, who's just a strawberry. So if you like strawberries, that's an option for you. And we've got plenty of others as well, which you can see if you type !donate, you put in any donation amount, and you can see what our incentives are. But that's not the only incentive we have open. We also have an incentive open right now for the run after Katamari Damacy Reroll, and that is for Satisfactory, where we can tame a lizard doggo. And so if you'd like to see us tame one of those exclusive, one-of-a-kind lizard doggos, except I think there's like more than one of them in Satisfactory. But anyway, if you'd like to see us tame one of them, make sure you get your donations in. That is also an incentive you have to apply to your donation on that donate page. So type !donate in chat, and then make sure you apply either that character bid war to your donation, or you apply that Satisfactory Tame the Lizard Doggo incentive. Now, we do not have a whole lot of time to meet either of those incentives. We have up until the very end of this donation break to meet that character bid war. That's at the start of the run. And then we only have until the end of Satisfactory to meet that incentive for taming the lizard doggo. And both of those runs are pretty short. So really, make sure you get your donations in now and apply that incentive to them. And I believe you can also split up your donation as well. So if you want to apply your donation towards both the character bid war and taming the lizard doggo, you can do that. But of course, I would like to thank all of you for the donations we have gotten so far. We have passed over $900 raised to help Trainer Nade with the cost for training and raising Quet. Thank you all so much. Some of the things that those have gone towards are things like covering about a month's worth of his food, which if you donate $60, that is what that can cover. And also, that $25 anonymous donation towards the bid war went towards covering 2 adult dog shoes for helping Quet with services like hot pavement, ice, salt, broken glass, and many other hazards that service dogs run into. Because Quet is going to have to accompany Trainer Anade everywhere. Quet is very important for making sure that Trainer Anade receives the service that they need. And with that, we're going to take a quick break, so don't go away, but make sure you get your donations in for those 2 incentives we have, and stick around, we will be right back soon.